Alright, Matt, grab your hazmat suit because today we're diving deep into the mystery of the Knox flu. What sparked the outbreak? Who had a hand in it? And how did it spiral into a full blown catastrophe? Deep in the forests of Knox County lies a military facility that's been buried in secrecy for years. Most overlook it, but it might be the key to understanding how everything fell apart. Inside, it's clear this wasn't just a base, it was a lab. Decontamination chambers, sealed labs, and equipment built for handling dangerous materials. It feels less like a defense post and more like a line that they were never supposed to cross. Animal cages, testing rigs, cold, sterile rooms meant for study, not survival. And deeper underground, a morgue and an MRI machine. Like they were dissecting the outbreak as it happened, trying to figure out what they'd unleashed. Locals remember the smell. Heavy, chemical, wrong. It hit before the outbreak. Some think it was an airborne release, maybe an accident, maybe something else. After that, it spread fast. Coughing, fevers, then violence. The military's proximity to the epicenter isn't just a coincidence. It's a connection. Maybe they lost control, or maybe someone made sure that they did. We may never get a straight answer, but everything about this facility feels off. The silence, the setup, the aftermath. This isn't just a backdrop, it's ground zero, and it's where we start putting the pieces together. Theory 2 takes us back to the military facility, but this time, the focus shifts. Not on the soldiers, not on the scientists, but on the animals. Because what if the virus didn't hit us directly? What if it started somewhere quieter? Somewhere more innocent? The release still happened, whether it was an accident or something darker, but this version of the virus wasn't ready for human testing yet. It was meant for animals. That's where the livestock come in. Chickens, cows, pigs, infected, but unaffected. Walking reservoirs, and no one knew their meat was tainted. Then, it spreads. Not through the air, but across countertops and grill tops. Spiffos, the face of the fast food in Knox County, unknowingly served up the outbreak on a sesame seed bun. The special sauce wasn't the problem, it was what came before. Tainted meat, cooked and served to thousands. The virus didn't need to leap, it was handed an invitation. And once it's found its way into the people, the virus did what it was built to do. It changed, fast, from something carried in food to something that lingered in the air. That's when the symptoms started. Fever, coughing, then the aggression. A local contamination turned into a city-wide outbreak. A bad burger became a mass grave. A secret facility, a farm no one questioned, a meal everyone trusted. The chain reaction didn't need a bomb, just silence. And now, the pieces are in front of us. The only question is, was it just neglect? Or was this the plan all along? Theory 3 drops the chemical leaks and fast food. This time, it all starts with movement. Not a virus in the air, not a secret in a lab, but a creature, alive and panicked, inside the facility. The above ground cages are torn apart, papers everywhere. Whatever happened here didn't go to plan. Could this mess up be the aftermath of something escaping? One theory suggests a test subject, a live animal, broke free during the chaos. It slipped through a breach in the fence. Looks small, looks unimportant, but that gap might have been the moment everything fell apart. One opening, one escape, one infected body heading straight into the world. Out in the wild, it didn't take long. The animal crosses paths with people on the dirt trails, hikers, workers, maybe even soldiers. We didn't ask questions whether it carried an airborne strain or spread the virus by bite. It made contact, that's all it needed. From there, it jumps to the first hosts. One animal, one mistake, that's all it takes. If this theory holds, the outbreak didn't start with a leak or a cover-up. It started with something small. This theory doesn't point to a broken cage or an airborne leak. It points to a person, a worker, someone who walked out of that facility carrying something that they shouldn't have. All it would take is a single breach, a torn suit, a bite, a scratch, one moment of contact that went unreported. Maybe it was fear, maybe it was negligence. Either way, the virus didn't stay in the lab. That dirt path leads straight into a town, a road traveled daily. If that worker was infected, they didn't know it, or just didn't care. They went home, back to their routine, and with them, the virus made its first move into the world. The symptoms hit slow: coughs, fever, fatigue. It passed for a cold, but it spread fast, quiet, and by the time people realized, it was already too late to stop. If this is how it started, then the first to fall wasn't a victim. They were a vessel, a silent carrier of the end. One person, one breach, and just like that, Knox County's Judas was born. This theory pulls us out of the lab and into something far more primal. A single cabin, hidden by the lake. Inside, it's not just ruin, it's carnage. Blood, symbols of death. Something terrible happened here. And it might just be where the Knox flu began. Across the lake, the pieces start to fit. What looks like a farm is anything but. Cages for people, tables for meat, a cooking area. This wasn't agriculture, it was slaughter. If this was a human meat operation, then the virus didn't spread by accident. It was served. Not far from the horror sits a food stand. Small, unassuming, but under this theory, it was the front. Infected meat, disguised as animal product, sold to the public. And from one meal, the virus found its way into the population, passed from plate to person. But as damning as this theory sounds, the evidence doesn't hold. The fences bend inward, signs of a breach, not containment. The farm wasn't the origin, it was a victim, overrun like everything else. The terror is real, but the cause might lie elsewhere. Whether it started here or not, this place is a scar on the map. Proof that not all monsters were infected. Some were just hungry. And if this theory is wrong, then it's not the virus we should fear most. It's what we became when it arrived.
Spiffo did it. Yeah, you heard me loud and clear. This friendly little raccoon you've all come to trust, he ain't what he seems. Oh no, Spiffos is no ordinary restaurant. It's a military front. And what does Spiffos even stand for? I'll tell you what it stands for. Strategic Pathogen Initiative for Fatal Outbreaks. Coincidence? I don't think so, folks. It's right there, hidden in plain sight. They've been planning this all along. You heard about their new so-called special sauce, right? Yeah, real special, alright. Specially designed to make you sick. This ain't no innocent barbecue recipe. It's a science experiment gone rogue. And the people in Knox Country, we are the lab rats. Now let me tell you something. You ever seen them cars driving up them dirt trails into the woods? Yeah, I've seen them too. What are they doing up there, huh? Testing on animals? Testing on us? You connect the dots. It's all there if you just open your eyes. The trophy's right in front of you. Spiffo knew it all along. They knew! And while everybody was chomping down on their special sauce burgers, they were laughing behind closed doors. Spiffo did it!
In this final theory, we trace the wake of something no one could control. A tornado that ripped through Brandenburg. To most, it was just a natural disaster. But what if it wasn't just destruction it left behind? What if that storm set something in motion? Something that would change everything? In the days after the tornado, a strange bloom formed in the nearby water sources. Green, thick, rotting. But then came the smell. A putrid stench that clung to the air. Some blamed the algae, others blamed what the storm uncovered. Either way, something was leaking into the water, and maybe into the lungs of everyone nearby. Residents noticed it first in the streets, then in their homes, and some got sick. At first, just a cough, then worse, collapsing, bleeding, turning. If the algae bloom was more than just rot, if it carried something dormant, waiting to be disturbed, then the tornado didn't just tear through buildings, it tore open a door. A freak weather event, A rotting bloom, a creeping sickness. Alone, they're pieces of a puzzle. Together, maybe they were the first real domino. Maybe nature didn't just witness the outbreak, it delivered it. And if that's true, then the Knox flu wasn't born in a lab, or a cage, or even a cabin. It came from nature. Before we wrap this up, let's pull back and ask the questions that never quite got answered. What exactly was the military digging for? That cavern wasn't just an accident, it was a door, and someone opened it. But why? What were they trying to find? And what about those people trapped inside the cave? Were they victims or test subjects? The broken glass, the rock, it looks less like an accident and more like a decision, a mistake, or maybe even a warning. And what about the smell? Everyone remembers it. But what if it wasn't from the algae, or even the water at all? What if it was something deeper? Some say it was airborne, that the infection rode in on the wind, but others think that the smell came from them, the infected. That their minds were changing, their senses sharpening, smelling us before they turned. Or maybe we've been chasing shadows. What if everything we've seen, the diner, the farm, the facility, was just misdirection? Clues planted to keep us looking the wrong way. If so, then the real story, the real origin, might still be buried out there, waiting. The Knox virus is a mystery, and the more you uncover, the darker it gets. Was it an accident, a weapon, or something even older? We may never know.